Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. My God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Bronson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to episode 830 of the podcast. Talking some New York Yankees in this episode. Now, we are going to, in just a few minutes, get into a conversation that I had with a guest. Russ joined us again. Russ from NY Yankee Dad. He's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can find his social medias on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook. That's at NY Yankee Dad. He joined us. He's been on the show a couple of times before. We talk New York Yankees, what to expect with these new expectations. With the Cole injury, the Luis Heel injury, the Garrett Cole or the Giancarlo Stanton injury, all these injuries. We discussed the Yankees season and what to look forward to now. What is going to be the identity? How is the rotation still going to look? Is it still going to be effective? Talked about the bullpen a little bit. Talked a lot about the lineup. So that's going to be in a few minutes. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. And we're going to get right into it. So opening day is in less than a week. Less than a week until opening day. That is crazy how quickly that just happened. I remember just trying to get over the whole Soto thing. And baseball is about to be back. So that's a gigantic positive. Now, I don't need to blab forever, but my thoughts. I think this Yankees team will be good. I can't really say I think they'll be great. I think they're in a much more competitive American League East now. And they're going to be in a dogfight with one or two other clubs all year, I believe. And I think those clubs are the Baltimore Orioles and the Boston Red Sox. So that's my take. I think their bullpen is going to be relied on a lot now. The bullpen is going to be the Yankees' strength. They've got, if there's one spot that I can look at on this roster, one aspect of the team, and look at as a weapon, I really have confidence in this bullpen. I think Devin Williams in the back end, Luke Weaver right before him, and I think they got some guys in middle relief to where you can bridge the gap very effectively as well, as long as they're healthy. And that's the biggest question mark with this team. But their bullpen especially has had problems staying healthy. So we'll see. Lineup has some questions. How are some of the youths going to do? Think the veterans will be fine. But it's going to come down to guys like Volpe and guys like Dominguez and Wells. Those guys have to show it. Especially the first two guys. And the rotation. Carlos Rodon is starting on opening day. He's back into what his initial role was expected to be when they first signed him. He's that 1A or 1B, and Max Fried is your ace. So those two guys are going to have a lot of pressure this season, and they're going to have to live up to it. So I think it's got upside to where it can do really well, but you start getting into risky territory once you go to the back end of the rotation. You know, if Clark Schmidt is healthy, I know he's not going to start the season healthy, but if he's good and everything's all checked out by late April, early May, I think that's a big addition too. That's a key X factor you could look at as someone who could step up and be a lot more productive than people might think. But he's always had trouble staying healthy. And then you get to the back of the rotation, and it's Stroman and Carrasco. And I joked in a recent blog, and I said, if Marcus Stroman is mediocre, Carlos Carrasco is probably washed up. But that's what we have right now. Until Will Warren is ready, we'll see. But the bullpen is what I'm looking at. The bullpen has got to be the strength of this team. It's now expected to. And that's basically what we talk about in this episode. So let's get to it. No wasting time. Talk Yankees expectations and questions and queries and all that stuff with Russ Lichti. We get to as soon as we return from break here. We'll be back in about a minute and a half, and then we'll transfer right into that segment of the show. Episode 830 of the podcast. Let's get to it. BD4 is available on social media for those who want to follow. You can find BD4 on Instagram at BD4Pod. You can find us on X at BD4Pod. And you can find us on Facebook by simply searching BD4. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, this podcast is also available in video format on YouTube. So be sure to go over to the YouTube channel, BD4, subscribe, like the videos, comment, and tell me how much I suck or maybe how much you like the video. We'd very much appreciate it. Don't have time to sit down and watch a video? You can listen to BD4 on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And you can also watch the video format on Spotify too. Do you enjoy Yankees baseball but are tired of hearing me yap? I have a suggestion for you. Go check out Yankee Crazy Podcast. Greg Gil is a Yankees podcaster on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and he's now selling merch. Go to yankeecrazy.myshopify.com. Stay connected with us. Visit bd4blog.com to explore our blog, tune in to our latest podcasts, and follow us on social media. Thank you for being a part of this community. All right, so what we're going to do, we'll talk, about the injuries and everything. And then if we have to go extra time, I'll end it and I'll call you back right after.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Yep,
right.
Sounds good.
So I like your hat.
I know there's so many injuries, but the whole Clark Schmidt thing, it doesn't sound, it's like they're kind of beating around the bush a little bit here.
So his back is good, but now
his back is good. Now it's the shoulder. So he's not going to be ready opening day.
No, that's pretty much confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading the Gary Phillips Daily News article before, and he's not going to be built up yet.
No.
So
Well, the good thing about April is you really only need 4 starters for the first couple of weeks of the season because of the built-in
Yep.
off days. So I want to start, obviously, with the big one,
Yep.
the Garrett Cole news. So when I had you on, it was like a month ago, and I don't think we knew about the Cole stuff yet. I don't even think the Stanton stuff was really.
No, Stanton stuff wasn't even a blip in anyone's imagination.
No, that was not even close to being a thing. So all of a sudden now we got all these injuries. So I guess we'll start with the Cole thing. Give me your take on that. Let everybody know what you think.
I mean, when I was last on here, with you,
Yeah,
we were talking about it, and I was saying how Garrett, we go as Garrett goes, and my prediction for him was another Cy Young type season, and
really,
now is out the door. Yeah, but I don't know. To me, it's more of the presence of him in the rotation too, rather than being, physically in the rotation. Just it's a lot of slack for the guys to pick up, which realistically, no one can really replace Garrett Cole.
No, I mean, somebody brought up a good point. I forget which Yankee. It might have been Rodon who said, they got another pitching coach, right? I thought that was a good way to put it. But yeah, man, I think I brought this up to you before. The whole opt-out thing with the Yankees initially not really wanting to give him the extra year. That was interesting to a lot of people. And then I think once they got free, that's when I started thinking, if anything was wrong. But I don't know. I was always proceeding with caution after last year. I felt even if he was here, I didn't think Cole was ever going to be what he was in 2023.
Well, no, yeah,
but I still thought he had enough to be an ace. But I was concerned. I was like, I was hoping they would limit the innings. It was always in the back of my mind. So now we're in a world where Max Fried has to kind of step up and be that guy. And we'll talk about some of the other guys as well, but I want to kind of transition to, your thoughts on Max Fried kind of taking over this ace role.
Yeah, I mean, well, we talked about it. Max Fried, Garrett Cole, it's like ace 1A, 1B. So now 1B, Max Fried becomes, the guy. And, which he did it with the Braves.
Yep.
He was a top-end starter with the Braves. I love that he has the playoff experience, the World Series experience. Max Fried's a hell of a pitcher, but he's not Garrett Cole. But, without Max Fried, I mean, we would have really been up the creek now, especially with Luis Gil and Clark Schmidt. I mean, the heel injury makes everything so much worse, I think.
Yeah. I almost forgot about Luis Gil.
So much worse. Yeah, no, it's
shit.
But when he comes back, if all goes well, it's kind of like, and they're going to preach about it and we're going to hear it. It's going to be like a trade acquisition.
Yeah. I got a question for you because I was thinking about this the other day regarding Louis. We'll talk about. I want to. Again, we'll get to the rest of the rotation in a second, but
yeah,
Luis Gil. I was thinking about it, and I don't know if it's smart, but like, let's say everything does go well, and Clark Schmidt's fine, and he's back by May, late April, and Fried's good, Rodon's good. Warren steps up. Let's say everything's good. Everybody's relatively healthy by then. Do you think to keep Luis Gil healthy, they should put him in the bullpen? Because that was a conversation last year in the second half with the innings limit. I wasn't really on board with it then. Kind of changing my tune a little bit. So I want to know your thoughts about, just to keep him healthy. And, guys who throw extremely hard nowadays do have concerns about that stuff. So I feel like he could play up in the pen. I never really fully trusted him as a starter, just because of the health stuff and the walks are a big issue. I feel like you put him in the bullpen, it could help keep him healthy.
Yeah.
At least, I don't know. It's just a thought that popped in my head.
It's not. I mean, I never thought of it until you right now bringing it up. I mean, but it's almost similar to like a Luke Weaver, like how Luke Weaver converted from, but. It could work. I mean, we know he got the stuff to do it. You mentioned the walks. He would drive us crazy last year. As good as he was, he would tend to get out of control with the walks a little bit. But for a bullpen role, his stuff can definitely play for it. I wouldn't be opposed for them to do it, but
Yeah.
I mean, with them not trading him away for someone like Kyle Tucker, you kind of think they view him as a frontline starter for now.
Right.
But even at one time, Dylan Betances was looked at as a frontline starter. He was the
Yeah.
starting pitcher when he first came up. Same thing with Mariano Rivera. But it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
He has the history of the Tommy John injury, which is concerning with the lat injury also. But when he was with Minnesota, in their system, he had Tommy John surgery. But he was just so electric last year. I mean, you'd want to. I could see down the stretch in like the playoffs, I could see him in a bullpen role.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, because in the playoffs, all you need is a couple of starters.
Mm-hmm. Like I could see him as one of those guys playing like that, 2-3 inning type role when you need be because his stuff's electric. But hopefully, knock on wood, all goes well. We're probably going to need him because who knows what's going to happen once the season starts.
I think that'd be an even better idea. Just something like that in the playoffs would be a smart idea to do. It'd be a different look. Nobody would really plan for that. But
he has the stuff to do it. We know that.
No, I mean I think his fastball would play up in the bullpen. He throws 98, but we've seen as he goes deeper into games that kind of ticks down a little bit. I think you put him in the pen, he throws 98 consistently. So, and it's just a thought. This is just my, I'm throwing it out there. But regarding the rotation, I think the rotation can still be good. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be elite. But I think Fried is. I have, like you said, I am more than convinced Fried can be an ace for this team. He's done it before. He leads the majors in ERA since 2020. So that's, if anybody's a little concerned, that's something to be optimistic about. He's the guy I love. I love his. He throws a lot of pitches, man, and he mixes and matches, and he gets ground balls. He gets soft contact. He'll throw that backdoor changeup to lefties.
That changeup is great.
Oh, the changeup is, and then the curveball. He'll go backdoor with the curveball against righties. That's a
and now he has
pitch.
the pickoff like Andy Pettit the other
and he's
night.
Got a really good pickoff move, which is good because the Yankees had issues holding runners on so much last year. I think that's going to help more people think.
Great fields his position very well also.
He fields his position. Their infield defense is better. A guy who gets ground balls is going to be better for their infield. I think it's a good fit. I think when they were going after Fried, those were things they were looking at.
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, it makes you wonder though, like you were saying before, did they know about Cole? I think it was more of we need to add to his strength because when Garrett's healthy, arguably Garrett Fried, we were talking about it, one of the top rotations in baseball. And now whatever, but that was before Cole and Heel and Schmidt were hurt. So
I do think
a little different now.
Yeah. And then Rodon is obviously starting on opening day. And he's gonna play a key. I like Rodon. I know he's kind of controversial in the Bronx, but I like the guy. I like the passion. He wears his heart in his sleeve, and I think he's a good pitcher. Obviously, everything with him kind of just comes down to fastball command. Because when he's not locating that fastball, you can't miss with 95 and expect to not give up a home run. And that's where most of his homers came last year. So he needs to play a crucial role as Fried's now taking up the ace spot. Rodon was initially signed to be that second ace. He's kind of back into that role.
Yeah, two things just to add with Carlos. Tonight, he was throwing a sinker. It was like 91, 92. It's a new pitch for him. So I think that's something they're looking to limit the home runs because as good of a year as he had last year, he had a really nice year last year. Home runs, he gave up a lot of home runs. It was the most
31.
Yeah, most in his career of all. But 31 is a lot of homers, man.
I think it's just the
other than that, I think he had a great year, but maybe the sinker has something to do with that.
Remember, he had that like 3-start stretch in the middle of the summer where it was like Boston, Toronto, and one other team that lit him up. And then he was pretty consistent outside that.
Carlos, was a nice year from definitely compared to the year one. definitely a nice year from him.
Yeah,
And,
I need a little more. Just in the playoffs, he was a little up and down.
Yeah.
So if he does what he did last year and then he steps it up in the playoffs, I think that's worth it. But obviously without Garrett and Heel for a while, he's going to need to step up. And
yeah.
I think the key is sequencing in that fastball. He's got to locate that fastball. He likes to go up with it, but if he's not going up out of the zone, that's a mistake. He needs to stay out of the zone with that heater. Then he'll be able to play his off speed off of that. So that's key.
Do you think they should have split Rodon and Fried? I thought so. With
Yeah, the two lefties, right?
Yeah.
So are they guaranteeing Fried for game 2, I'm assuming?
Well, yeah, right now, the way it's looking, it's
Yeah.
Rodon opening day, Fried game 2, Stroman.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, yeah.
Would be the game 3.
I mean,
and then we don't know if it's going to be Carrasco and Warren. Like what?
So that's probably it, right? So what's your
order?
It's
looking like Carrasco is going to make the team.
He's definitely going to be to start the year at least.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, like if he's here for you're just hoping Schmidt's healthy by May at the very latest. Carrasco, I think is all you're asking him to do is go 4 innings and keep you in the game every 5 days.
Exactly.
Just don't get lit up. I think for a full season, he would be a disaster. So you're hoping that Clark Schmidt is healthy. But if you're asking him to pitch a few starts for you in April and Clark Schmidt will take the reins after that, and maybe Carrasco sticks around until Will Warren's ready, fine. But I just hope it doesn't get any.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. To like what kind of roster carousel they're gonna do just for opening day.
Yeah.
Warren still has the option, which you could send him down just to a part of the roster carousel. You use it to keep Carrasco so you don't lose him. He's making the team, but and even like a guy like Alan Winans, but I think they sent him down to Miners camp the other day. But at this point, they can't afford to lose any arms. They got to try to keep as many as possible for depth purposes, I think, unless more guys are coming in that we don't know about, which is a possibility.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. They can't. I mean, they're really banking on so much in the top of the rotation. Those guys really need to stay on the field. Or else
what we're going to find out is, and it's nothing that pops out at you, but maybe there's a non-roster invite on another team that's not getting a spot. Like, today, Garrett Hampson opted out of his contract. Like maybe there's another pitcher. I put a few of the names there. Jalen Beeks was one of them. I put up Jalen Beeks and then a few hitters like Mark Hanna. But if they opt out, I mean, there's no guys that are going to pop off at the page.
Not at
all. Are they better than some of the options we have? Arguably, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's what we're looking at right now. It's not like the Trevino trade a few years back that we got our starting catcher the day before opening day.
That's true. And I think Birdie was late also.
Birdie was late also, yeah.
I think I think people are forgetting about the bullpen being really elite. I think that's going to be a big key this year. That's going to help them, deal with some of the losses in the rotation. The bullpen is filthy, in my opinion. I think this has potential to be the best bullpen they've had since the Betances era.
Oh, yeah, easily.
It's got so much. Like they have a lot of breaking ball specialists in there, guys who just come in and just blow you away for an inning or whatever it is. And I think they're going to be fine as long as they get enough from the rotation. You figure that Fried and Rodon will eat enough innings to where most of their days you'll only need 3 innings, 2 innings from the bullpen. They go 6 and then you hand it over to your pen. And the other guys you're just hoping can do enough to where you don't have to tax your middle relief.
It seems like that's kind of like the plan now, too. And the past few days, we saw Ian Hamilton made an appearance last night. So they said he's going to be ready to go for opening day. Mark Leiter Jr. is going to be back. So
I would look at that guy as a breakout candidate.
Yep. And he did great in the playoffs.
Yep.
The playoffs, he really showed us what he was made of. That's what I'm looking at. Forget what he did down the stretch. We still made the World Series, but
Right.
it looks like he's going to be a player, in the bullpen. So there's like one or two spots left right now, and I think a lot of the roster is going to be like one or two spots where it's going to be part of the roster carousel.
What's the deal with Matzik? Do you know if he's healthy yet, or is he still?
They said, I was reading yesterday that he also has an opt out, but they don't know what's going to happen yet because he basically at this point right now, if he was healthy tomorrow, he doesn't have enough work yet.
Yeah.
For opening day. There's a lot of it I think has to do with the work, but they didn't really say anything about where he was leaning.
Because they need lefties.
I mean?
So it's just him and Hill, right?
Right now it's Hill, yeah. I mean, there's guys like we saw for spring, we saw a lot of Hedrick, the guy Brent Hedrick, and the other lefty, Brandon Liebrandt. And those are two guys that we saw. See, that's like another position.
Is this Gomez? Gomez is a righty, isn't he?
Yeah, Yogo is a righty. A lefty.
And Beater. What about Beater's a lefty? Isn't Beater a lefty?
Beater's a righty also. No,
Beater's a righty?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Beater's also a righty.
They need. All right. Well,
it could be a position where a guy comes from outside. Like a non-roster invite.
Yeah, last year, the beginning of the season, the bullpen looked totally different than what it was in the second half. Mm-hmm. So you had guys like Gonzalez and Ferguson.
Years, they hit on the bullpen. That's like something you really don't have to worry about with them.
No, they find guys. I always say Cashman finds somebody who's a diamond in the rough, and then Matt Blake turns him into a really good above-average arm.
Bullpen, I mean, look at Luke Weaver. I mean, just from a money standpoint, too, he's only making like less than $3 million.
Value right there, yep.
And he's one of the best relievers, not in the American League, all of baseball.
Yeah. I think that the back of the bullpen is going to be filthy, man.
Yeah.
Going from Weaver to Williams on a nightly basis is insane. And I keep watching.
Fernando Cruz is going to be fun,
Cruz is good. I like, man, Williams. I refuse to call Devin Williams' changeup a changeup. That thing is a screwball. Every time I see it, man, I've seen him throw it. The way he throws it, he'll throw it just like a screwball. He's got the changeup grip, but that thing is a screwball if I've ever seen one before.
Looks like it. Definitely looks like it. He's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, if he's healthy, he's going to be legitimate. And then the lineup, man. Obviously,
we got a lot of news today about the lineup.
Yeah, we got leadoff. What was it? You saw the Goldie stuff.
Yeah. They said. Well, Jack Curry said it. He had an interview for one of his podcasts, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Righty lefty.
So Wells. We've seen Wells batting majority of the spring. He hit his fourth home run tonight. So I got no problem with Austin Wells leading off. It's just the Goldie against lefties is interesting. Now you mentioned that a while back. You said,
I think I brought it up. I might have, right?
Yeah. It was a mention. That,
it wasn't Goldie, like I just threw it out there.
Yep, that Goldie could bat lead off, and I honestly never thought anything of Goldie batting lead off. They said he never did it professionally, but why not? I mean, the guys at the top of the lineup, they're not going to run in front of Judge.
That's my big thing.
Yeah, it only happened 5 times last year.
Yeah. The way they go, they're very, very modern with it. So I think they just have to fully embrace the fact that Judges too, you're going to have to get as much speed on the bottom as you can, and you want up top. You want a guy getting on base.
Even with the turnover of the lineup, and the turnover of the lineup, it's only Wells and Goldie are only leading off one time.
Right.
So it's almost as if they're making the lineup longer.
Right.
To where that bottom of the order, the second and third go round, it's a really long, it's a long lineup coming at you where the 1 and 2 hitters don't become the 1 and 2 hitters anymore. They're almost like the 2 or 3 or 3 and 4. Because depending on the configuration of the bottom of the order. But I think we're going to see the running aspect is going to come from Dominguez, Volpe, Jazz, wherever they are in the order. That's where the running is going to come from. And as it should, because they're kind of the best athletes on the team, from that perspective.
They need to take advantage of that now that they have more speed and athleticism. Even Bellinger,
Bellinger
bringing
too.
him in
Yep.
here.
Bellinger
Yeah,
too.
so
Yeah.
I think use those guys, steal more. I would love them to lay down a bunt here and there. God forbid they go a little more old school, but
Old school ball. But, I mean,
it's
with speed like that, you have 4 guys
yeah.
who can steal 20 plus bags easily.
I think the my
Crazy.
problem, Russ, is like they don't find that balance enough. Sometimes they completely go away from the old school stuff.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of where I think it's too far. Like I'm all for the embracing analytics and everything, but like you gotta be able to have a feel for the game sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
there are way too many times where they're up there trying to pull the ball, and I know the shift is different now, but like you got a guy on second base with you know less than 2 outs. It's like you should probably move him over in a 1-run game in the 8th inning or something. Lay down a bunt. You have Jazz Chisholm. You got Bellinger. You got lefties from that side of the box who can get a head start. Lay down a bunt.
And it's crazy, all these lefties now. A few years ago, we were crying for more lefties. Now there's too many with the way the lineup's configured,
Yeah,
but
there's
it could be a good thing.
yeah, there's a little too many. We have like what, 2 righty power bats, Judge and Goldschmidt, and that's it.
Judge and Goldschmidt, yeah.
So I don't know, man. I feel like
Right now, yeah. But
that might be something they're looking at, in terms of trading later in the year.
well, I mean, the configuration right now, the bench with Dom Smith opting out, the configuration for the bench, if they carry 4 guys, you're looking at Escara, who bats lefty. Peraza bats righty.
Braza
Grisham bats lefty.
left.
And who we missing there?
Cabrera and LeMahieu.
Well, Oswaldo's going to be third.
Oswaldo's pretty much. They said he's starting,
Yeah.
right?
It's pretty against right-handed pitching.
And
It's gonna
then
be
Oswaldo. So
Oswaldo, Peraza, who? Escara, Grisham. Yeah. I mean, Ben Rice, lefty. I mean, Rice is going to be the DH now.
he'll be DHing, and that's an interesting one. I mean, I'm excited for Ben Rice. I know we talked about it the other day.
Escara, Peraza, Grisham, and then Pablo Reyes is projected right now.
Pablo Reyes.
He's a bats righty.
No idea who that is.
Yeah, he's been playing a little bit, but utility guy. That's according to yeah, I saw that like on Fangraphs as one of like the who it could be, but I'm thinking there's 1 or 2 bats that are going to come from the outside.
Yeah, I mean the Cashman does that, like we said.
Mm-hmm. It's nothing gonna. I'd be happy if like they told me it was like Mark Canha or something like that. Like I would be ecstatic. But
yeah,
it's gonna be interesting. They're gonna do something. It's just a matter of what.
I feel like they missed on I really wanted Moncada. I know he gets hurt a lot, but I thought Moncada would have been a good pickup for a couple of bucks.
He's hurt right now too. I think he's hurting at the moment.
Bat. He's already hurt?
I think so. He had something with his.
Christ.
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, never mind.
I remember seeing that.
Then
That Angels third base position's cursed.
Rendon's a piece of shit, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that guy's an asshole. That might be the worst contract since Ellsbury. That's really bad.
Pretty bad.
Might be the worst contract of all time. I really think.
It's up there.
That's horrible.
The dude just don't want to play. It seems like.
Oh my god, they're a mess. Yeah, so the lineup's going to have some pressure now. I think it's on the young guys to step up. We
know Bellinger's going to bat third. We found that out.
Yes, that's another thing. Bellinger third.
We found that out today. So it's going to be interesting though. So now my question is, so we know Wells lead off against righties, most likely Goldie lead off against lefties. Are those 2 guys going to be the cleanup hitters when they're not batting leadoff? Because it kind of lines up that way.
It would make sense.
Right? It lines up that way.
It would make sense to be so against righties it would be Wells, Judge, Belly, and Goldschmidt.
I would assume Goldschmidt.
And then you flip them against lefties.
Mm-hmm.
And then
you're probably looking at Jazz batting 5th or sixth, whatever. If Jazz is batting fifth, Volpe will be six.
Right.
If Volpe's
And then
five,
when there's a
Jazz will
righty
be
on the
six.
mound.
Yeah, I think that,
Yeah.
and
That's
they're
probably
going to
it.
be the runners.
Yeah, that's probably it.
And then Rice and Oswaldo towards the bottom.
What do you think about Ben
Oswaldo,
Rice?
I mean, I was telling you and one of my other friends, I said I couldn't have been so wrong on Ben Rice from what he's showing us. I mean, he came out hot last year. We know what he did in the minor leagues. This is spring training, but I haven't seen him hit a ball like not squared up all
Yeah.
spring. Seriously, and the numbers don't lie either. When you look at
No.
the the Statcast numbers.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
posted that the other day. I saw that and I took a
it's
screenshot of it.
wild.
Yeah,
It's
and
wild.
that was last year too. Like even when he was at the big league level last year, as much as he was struggling, he was still hitting it hard, and he was
And
still
great
drawing
at
his
bat.
walks. Yeah,
That's the one thing that stuck out to me from Ben Rice from the beginning. I said it's a big league at bat.
bro,
For a
that's
guy
the
that's a
one thing you have to
12th-round
look
pick.
at from a young player. Like it's one thing to go up there and just get lucky on a couple of hangers or run into a fastball and have a rookie season like Gary Sanchez just swinging left and right and hitting homers. But if you're going up there with an actual approach and you're not swinging at pitches outside the zone and you're being aggressive on strikes, like that's an approach. And that's something that I do think will eventually translate as long as it might take. I do think there's something there.
And I'm not making excuses for the kid, but he came up. He's a catcher. We saw him catch a little bit this spring. We didn't see him catch last year. He was learning a new position at the big league level, first base, which is not easy to just go plug someone in at first, especially in the bigs. And through the midst of all that time where he was being thrown in the lineup against righties and lefties, he was batting leadoff a lot.
Yeah, he was a leadoff hitter. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was batting leadoff a lot before Glaber took that over. But so you can kind of look at it from what we're seeing him do now. You can look at it from a way with last year's sample from the regular season and what we're seeing now in spring training. If you kind of look at the median of it, like this kid's a big league hitter, but he shouldn't be batting leadoff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Consistently. But the bottom of the order right now with the way everything, I rather him than, an aging veteran off the scrap heap.
Right.
That, time and time again, the Yankees always did, where it's just certain positions is just like a recycle position for the league vets. Let the young kids play, and I think we're seeing that now. We're going to see the young kids come up.
Yeah, I mean, you're already talking about now with Ben Rice in the mix. That's him, Volpe, Dominguez. You can consider Jazzy. I know he's not homegrown, but like you got like 5 guys in the 9-man lineup that are under 30 in their 20s. So
yeah, and for homegrown guys, Judge, Volpe,
Cabrera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
Everyone but Belly, Jazz, and Goldschmidt. And
that's
and
good,
Belly's a legacy, so he's like a homegrown.
Right. Yeah, that's true. He's
gonna
grandfathered in.
Have something. Yeah, I mean, the way he's hitting this spring, he has the potential to really be a problem.
Yeah.
In a good way. Like he has a potential to really be a problem.
Yeah.
He can refine his position well.
If there's anybody who can find it again coming into Yankee Stadium, it's someone like Bellinger. I think the veterans will do their jobs. It's just going to come down to the young. I think Volpe, Dominguez, those guys need a hit. If they're just as bad this year, I think the Yankees are in a whole lot of trouble offensively.
Well, like we talked about last time, Volpe year 3. Year 3 is very, very much telling what type of player he's going to be.
Yeah.
Like this season kind of tells the Yankees if they have their long-term shortstop option.
Yep.
Because if it's a real stinker, it kind of raises eyebrows. Because after his rookie year Gold Glove season, I don't know about what you think, but what I think just from watching without looking at fielding metrics, just from watching. From year 1 all the way through, there's certain things that Volpe has done better. I think his fielding is starting to slowly dwindle from what we've seen originally.
I don't know. I haven't caught that yet. The only thing I will say is,
it's just I feel his fielding is not getting bad, but it's starting to take a slight hit because he's worried so much about what type of offensive player he's going to be.
well, that happens with young players. So he's
Of course, yeah.
It's mentally, man. But if the bottom line is he needs to hit, and all this noise will go away. He doesn't need to be, amazing, but he needs to be an above average threat at the plate. And I think,
like Ben Rice, he needs to have a big league at bat.
Yeah, just and take advantage.
Yeah.
Take advantage of your speed. Pull the ball to left field in Yankee Stadium. Left field is expansive. If he pulls the ball more, he's going to turn triples or doubles into triples and singles into doubles. Like he needs to take advantage of that and pull the baseball and stop trying to just slap it to right field and change his approach. I would take what he did as a rookie at the plate as much as he struggled over what he did last year, because at least he was getting some extra base hits.
It was 20 home runs too, right? I think he hit 20 homers. He did.
And he's never going to be a home run guy. So
he doesn't have
just
to be.
Pull the ball. Use that left field. You are going to – I'm telling you, man, if he pulls the ball in the air more, uses that big property they've got out there, he's going to get a lot of doubles.
And we saw what he did in the World Series. He has that clutch gene. We know – you can see he has that it's almost that Anthony he needs to unleash. Like the next level. He needs to unleash the next level a little bit. He's almost there.
Yeah,
he's almost there.
I loved his approach the entire postseason.
The playoffs was great.
Sitting on taking those breaking balls and
he was completely
going
different.
The other way with them, and he was pulling the fastballs, and he was doing everything you wanted to see him do up there. Approach wise, he was getting on base consistently. So if that's the Volpe we get, that's going to really help this team going forward.
I'm with that.
So we got about 2 minutes left before I wrap this one up. Just your overall thoughts and on the expectations of the team this year. Now that all these injuries have hit, where do you think they'll land? Division, American League.
I still think they're a top 5 team in the American League.
Yep.
Whether or not at first, before these injuries, I kind of felt like not that it was going to be a runaway, but they were going to be the class of the American League. Now I look at them as a top 5 team. They may have to fight for the division. Boston really much improved. I mean, it's the AL East. Anything can happen. We know this already. Yep. The American League, most of the talent right now, from the offseason was added to the National League. Yes. No matter with our injuries, Garrett Cole down, Luis Heel, the little hiccups with Clark Schmidt, name any of the injuries, the American League has to come through the Yankees. The Yankees won the pennant last year. So we are the team to beat the American League, the Yanks. So it's all on paper now. We're 6 days away from opening day. The game's got to be played. It's gonna be a challenge, just like any season.
Yeah,
but it might be a little more difficult this year, based off of what we're seeing now. They could make a trade before next week. They could make a trade in May, in June, in July. At some point, they're gonna have to, and I think that's what they're waiting on.
Well, it would help if some of their guys
they're waiting to see where they're gonna be at.
Yeah. They're waiting, all right. I'll give you that one.
I think they're waiting because they don't want to deplete somewhat, a farm system that's not, that great of a farm system, reputation-wise. I don't think they want to deplete the good prospects they have now for a team that may not be what it takes to where they have to put it over the top. Because if we come June, July trade deadline, if the Yankees are 500, or they're struggling, it could happen. They're not going to make that move.
No.
But if they're right in the thick of it and, guys are still healthy, God willing, and they need that Sandy Alcantara or you name that big Bo Bichette could be on the move. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. could be on the move. Kevin Gossman. Guys like, right-handed bat, someone like a George Springer maybe.
Right.
So there's going to be guys becoming available, but the Yankees, they're not going to go trade Spencer Jones next week for a team that could have 85 wins.
Yeah,
maybe less.
That's
You know what I'm
where I
saying?
go back. That's where I go back
Yeah.
to the offseason, not doing enough, put them in this position. So that's just my opinion. But
it's just they could have did a lot more, but you know what? They didn't. This is what it is. And when you compare it against other teams are dealing with injuries too. Not really as bad as Garrett Cole. They're not dealing, but the American League still has to run through the Yankees, and they're still a pretty damn good team.
I like it, man. I like it. I appreciate that perspective a lot. Russ, thanks, man. Yankee Dad, NY Yankee Dad on YouTube. You're on Apple Podcasts too, right?
Apple Podcasts, you can find me. Video goes up on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and podcast goes up on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Perfect. Thanks, Russ.
Thank you, RJ.
All right. Well, I appreciate you all for tuning in to episode 830, episode 830 of the podcast. Russ joined us from at NY Yankee Dad. As he said, it's on all podcast platforms, including YouTube, if you want to watch the video format. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the show. We talk Yankees for about 30, 35 minutes there. So don't forget to leave a like if you're on YouTube, 5-star rating and review if you're on Apple Podcasts listening to this episode and all that. But I appreciate you all stopping by. And I'll see you very soon. Season's starting up less than a week. Later. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.